So if you're watching this video, you're probably wondering, what type of hiking shoes do I need for hiking? And you might even be a beginner and you're trying to figure out, should I buy new shoes? Can I wear the shoes that I already have? And all those questions related to that. Before we get into it though, please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps me out tremendously. We talk a lot about hiking and backpacking. We talk about gear. We talk about rehab of injuries and how to prevent injuries on the trail so that you can be the most effective and enjoy your hikes without pain. So let's get into today's topic. How do you look for the right shoe when you're backpacking or hiking? Especially if you're a beginner, this can be super overwhelming. So the first things to consider are, there are so many different types of shoes out there. There's hiking boots, there's running shoes that are kind of trail oriented with kind of a tread on the bottom, and then there is like a minimalistic shoe that can also be used for everyday or trail. There's kind of trail specific ones as well. So there's three different main categories, and you could argue that you can break those down into subcategories as well. But the question that I get a lot about, and one that I've even asked myself, is do you need to buy a separate pair of shoes just for hiking? Something specifically meant for hiking. And this is near and dear to my heart because for years, probably like 3 or 4 years, I did not have shoes that were meant for hiking, backpacking. It didn't even have any sort of outdoor tread on them. They were just straight up street running shoes. And you know what? They did the job. I wasn't doing the most crazy hiking trails. I wasn't going for long miles. I was just starting. I was a beginner. And all I used was what I had, was regular running shoes. And guess what? It worked. There were a couple times where maybe I was hoping that I'd have a little bit more tread because you'd slide, especially in slippery conditions or something like that. But it did its job, right? I got me on the trail and I did hiking, and that's what I needed to do at the time. So running shoes do the job, but they're not that great for hiking unless you get something with a tread on them. So my first suggestion is for you new backpackers and hikers out there, just go ahead, just try your straight up running shoes, give it a try and see how it goes. Just start with something a little more basic of a hike anyway, and you should be fine wearing your regular shoes. Now, when you're looking for your next pair of shoes though, with the hiking boot, the running shoe, or the kind of the minimalistic style shoe, this is what I would say, is in general, most people are going to be okay with if they're doing some sort of training or just staying regularly active, they are going to be okay with the center column, which is the running shoe with tread. Something that is a low cut to a medium cut shoe should be enough to get you through most hikes. And being the most comfortable, they're going to be lighter, they're going to maybe have a little more cushion. And I can say from my own experience, this is what I generally use on a daily basis when I go hiking, is a trail running shoe. A running shoe with some sort of tread on the bottom. Then the hiking boot, to that extreme, it has a lot of support. Usually you'll see a high top or maybe a mid top shoe. It can be leather, it can be synthetic, anything like that. There's all different types. And whether you should go that route, I would say, is for somebody that either has flat feet, feels like they have weak feet, they're tripping a lot, those might be a good option. Usually for me, I want to encourage people to not have to use those types of shoes, and there are ways to get around that. You just need to know how to hike and absorb the roots in case you step on a root or a divot. You know how to absorb that divot or obstacle with your knee and your hip instead of just stepping on it and making your ankle absorb that impact and then twisting your ankle. So it's more about how you're walking and how you step on the object and absorb it. And if you're not doing that, then I would consider you maybe needing a little bit more support. But really, when you think about it, and this is a gripe of mine, a little pet peeve, but is a little piece of leather, synthetic, or something like that that's putting up on, higher up on your ankle, is that really going to stop you from rolling your ankle? No. Most people that wear them actually, in my opinion, my friends and all that, my brothers, my family members, when they do this, they actually have a tendency to roll their ankle more because everything is stiff. It makes your knees stiffen up, your hips, and it acts, instead of you absorbing it like a shock, you're actually just jamming your foot into the object. And it leads you to having more issues than not. So usually I stay away from that, but some people really like that extra support. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Please comment below and tell me what type of shoe that you wear with hiking. There's so many different kinds, and I know some of my buddies that are hiking, they asked, hey man, can you do a video about this? Like, there's so many different brands, and we are not even talking about brands right now. We're just talking about styles of shoes, and there's so much to talk about with this. I could go on and on and on. And then into the other extreme of the third type of category, in my opinion, that you can wear for hiking and backpacking is the minimalistic shoe. This is the one where it's, as its name says, it's very minimalistic, meaning there is no cushion. It's usually directly flat. Your foot is level, and there's really nothing to it. You can fold the shoe in half. And this is what I wear on a daily basis every day, like for shopping and going to say school or going to work or whatever. This is what I wear, but when I go backpacking, it's something that I choose as maybe a select item, or I'm trying to train my foot, or I'm maybe not going as far. I'm going to use that type of shoe. And the reason is because it's actually a great strengthening tool. It makes your feet work harder. So when you use it as a training tool, your feet and ankle will be stronger, and they'll perform better when you're doing longer hikes, even if you are wearing a running shoe, like a trail running shoe or a hiking boot. But a little caveat in there, please do not take my advice and say, just get a trail or a minimalistic shoe. Please, you need to progress towards getting a minimalistic shoe. I have been using a minimalistic shoe for probably the last at least 4 years. And in that 4-year time frame, I probably took about 2 or 3 years to slowly transition to using them as an everyday shoe, a running shoe, and then occasionally a hiking shoe. So definitely start, if you're going to do anything, talk to somebody. They'll tell you how to progress towards it. There is a good way to do that. And then you need to also use it as an everyday shoe and not just for hiking or not just for running. Don't jump into that. Just go, every day as your normal daily driver, and then start adding it into your other activities. So those are the three: the hiking boot, the trail runner, and then the third would be the minimalistic shoe. And each one is based on your different skill level. I would say in general, beginners generally gravitate towards the hiking boot, and I would encourage more to be more of a trail runner in the middle.
So lastly, what I'll do is I'll walk you through how I look for hiking shoes. First, I start with REI's website. You could also do Backcountry, and just go ahead and type in hiking shoes in the top search bar. When you get there, you can then narrow it down to whatever you like on the left. But start with this, and what you'll find is that most of the shoes that show up are going to be hiking boots. They have that tread on the bottom and a thicker kind of foam cushion. Usually that foam cushion is harder. And then when you find something that looks a little bit more like a running shoe, that's usually more of the trail running shoe. You could also search trail running shoes and find them that way if that's what you're looking for. Next, I'm going to be showing you the Ultras. These are the minimalist, or kind of the hybrid minimalistic wide toe box shoes. And then the Vivo Active Barefoots. This is more the minimalistic style. If you like this video, please like the video, subscribe, and comment below if you like this or want to know more about it. And I'll see you on the next one.